Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, it's finally Friday. If you watched my video yesterday afternoon, you know why I'm saying that, because all day yesterday, or at least a good portion of it, I just thought it was Friday. And so I was, hey, this is awesome. It's Friday. Day of rest is coming up soon. Well, of course it wasn't. My wife had to burst my bubble and informed me that it was actually Thursday, but it's finally here. So I'm happy with that. It's been a rough last couple of weeks, so it's maybe get a little bit of rest tomorrow. Weather is not too bad. A little bit warmer today than yesterday, and it'll be a lot warmer today than it will be tomorrow. Looks like the high tomorrow might only be in the mid to upper 20s. So this weekend will be pretty cold, warming back up probably about Tuesday or so. Well, lot of movements in the Middle East. Looks like that we are sending over just almost instantly yesterday after the news that the president called off the strikes on Iran due to Israel saying, hold off, you don't have enough military there, you don't have enough assets there, you don't have enough support there, this needs to be a lot bigger, you need to wait a little bit. Almost instantly, there was reports of naval vessels setting sail to the Middle East, and planes, military cargo planes and everything else being sent over to the Middle East. So there's definitely a buildup there. It looks like, we want to hope that if this happens, and I don't think it's an if anymore, that it will just be maybe some bigger strikes compared to what we saw back last June. But it's I don't know that they flat out come out and said it, but there's strong indication that this isn't just to take out some missile sites, that this is to do regime change, and really to do effective regime change for a country like Iran, you better prepare for some type of Iraq invasion style of war, which means long-term occupation, all sorts of things, because Iran is a whole different big mess than just kidnapping Maduro from Venezuela. So yeah, that one's probably gonna be a while. Things are continually heating up here in the United States with all these protests and these riots. In many places, they are definitely becoming a lot more violent. Firearms are being used, not necessarily in the sense of shooting people, but they're being brandished, they're being seen, really on both sides. Obviously, ICE has them, but I'm talking about there's video of them, actually brandishing firearms, not just pepper ball guns and things like that. And then there's also reports of firearms on the part of the protesters, the instigators. And so it's rapidly picking up speed, and the calls for Insurrection Act are growing. I'm honestly surprised it hasn't already been invoked. Reports yesterday that there were discussions in the White House with the president on invoking that. So I think it's coming soon. I'm not guaranteeing it or anything like that, but I think it's coming soon. And you probably should start getting ready for that. Also, in regards to ICE, story came out yesterday that Palantir, you all know who that is. Palantir is working with ICE with a software. And, I have been talking about this for a while, that how Palantir has a history of working with Israel in creating facial recognition software connected to AI. They were using it in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, probably still are, I'm assuming, to identify terrorists. Well, that's being used by ICE now. If you've watched any of these videos up there in Minnesota, there's several where you can see that there's, there may be a group of ICE agents dealing with protesters, and there's usually always at least one ICE agent, and he's got a cell phone out. And sometimes you've actually seen them walk up to someone and, take a picture, like right to their face. Well, what they're doing is that there's this software that Palantir has developed, and it takes a picture, uses AI to do facial recognition, and the software itself is developing a full dossier on that person. And so this is being used now. A few months back, there was a news article about how ICE was using flock cameras and other types of cameras throughout the United States, along highways, municipal cameras that they were getting access to. I mean, you could go back a decade or more, and there were articles talking about how Homeland Security had backdoor access to security camera systems in places like Walmart. And now, I mean, you go to Walmart. If you have a Walmart, this is a little side note. I think Zach Bauer did a video on this a while back. But if you have a Walmart.com account, it'll keep track of all your purchases at Walmart. And if you go into a Walmart and you buy something with cash, it shows up on there. If you buy something with a credit card, and then the next time a different credit card or a debit card or check or cash or whatever, it all shows up on this Walmart account. How does it know that? Because it's using facial recognition software. When you go to the checkout, it scans your face and it all puts it in there. Well, anyway, so the government has access. This is not really big news, but they are now, ICE is using this to collect data, these data centers I've been telling you about, and they're compiling dossiers on people. Now, it's not just illegals, folks. They don't know that this person's illegal or not. Many of these people are Americans, and you can say, well, they're bad, they shouldn't be there. That's true for the most part, but there are certainly, we've seen cases just from the videos in the last, couple of weeks. This stuff's happening in a city with neighborhood, and there's people that are driving through trying to get to work, try to go to church, try to go to a doctor's office, visit. And they're being stopped, and they're being, their faces being scanned. Sometimes they're, just, okay, move along. Other times it explodes into something else. But the point is that they're collecting information on everyone. The big old police state. I don't know what to tell you other than I've been warning about this kind of stuff forever. And, honestly, to me, it doesn't matter if it's Biden, if it's Kamala, if it's Obama, if it's Trump. It's all being done, and they're collecting. Why do you think that they're spending hundreds of billions of dollars building thousands of these data centers to collect data? Because that's what they're doing. They're collecting every bit of data on you. There's a video just came out, I believe it was yesterday. The ADL is involved with the FBI, and that's what. And they even talked about how there are all these data centers and they're collecting data. If you look at the economy right now, a large portion of the economy, a large portion of the construction industry, everything is because of these data centers. And as government is rapidly growing. Yes, we're cutting back in some areas, but we're just taking that money, we're spending it even more and more in other areas. Well, they're collecting everything on you so that they can use it for many different reasons. But a lot of it is control, and to, if you don't fall in line. And right now it's like, well, that's fine because it's these terrorist insurrectionists. Well, yes, that's today. Tomorrow, it may be people that don't agree in another area of government, and that could be you. So, yeah, big government's bad, folks. I don't care who's in charge. There is no human being on this planet that is good enough to be some type of authoritarian type of leader to have that kind of power. It's just that's why our founding fathers, the original concept of how this government was supposed to be set up, that's why. because they truly believed, and they were right, that there is no human on this planet, no matter how good they are, that can handle and wield that type of power justly. Eventually it corrupts them, because power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And we're watching absolute power being built. And kind of segueing from that, have you guys seen this video down in Mar-a-Lago? And I know some of you are going to get upset at me, but just please be patient with me and hear me out. This is not a Trump bashing segment. Have you seen this video though? And I know you've probably seen other videos, Mar-a-Lago, with their parties that they have, and it's ridiculous. This is why the president is building this ballroom at the White House, you know, so that they can have these types of balls. It's not just so that they can do inaugurations. He wants to host, and hopes that others after him will host these types of ridiculous balls that, you know, all of the elites can come to. But anyways, I'm going to show you over here this video clip. Now, to be fair, this party wasn't necessarily hosted by Donald Trump. It was at his Mar-a-Lago, but the Mar-a-Lago, the ballroom or whatever, was rented out. I think it was by like some kind of humane society or something like that. And so they put on this party, and you can see in the video they're wearing these furry looking dog and cat costumes, and their Renaissance era. It's absurd. It's like, you know, secondhand embarrassment. It's ridiculous. Donald Trump did make an appearance at this. He did make an appearance and spoke at this event there in Mar-a-Lago. That is confirmed. He was there and he did speak. Here's the thing that I'm getting to, folks. This is a perfect example of what actually is really going on right now in the world. It's not specifically American. It's really everyone. It is a battle between the haves and the have-nots. And the haves are winning it, folks. These oligarchs that are ruling the world. It's always been this way, but it's becoming much worse. And if you look at the data, there is a very widening divide between the top 5% and everybody else. If you look at the economy, you know, I mentioned just a moment ago, the data centers. If you take the economy as a whole and you remove the AI data centers, okay, and then you remove the spending, the growth in the economy that's caused by the upper elites, the top 1 or maybe top 5%. If you remove that, the rest of the economy is in complete disarray, depression, collapse. It's horrible. Most of the growth in the economy, that's, say, not the AI, the rest of the big growth in the economy is just the luxury spending by the upper elite, because they're making so much money. It's not from you and I. And so when they say, oh, but the economy's doing great, and you're sitting there saying, but I'm getting poorer and I can't afford things. The economy's doing great because the upper elite are doing good. And because of that, it's causing the economy to do good. But their spending is really just going back into the regular guys. You know, they're not coming to the mom and pop shop and giving their money to the mom and pop shop so that they can make money. They're taking their money and they're buying, you know, Rolls Royce, and they're buying their, you know, $500,000 watches and stuff like that. So it's keeping it, well, in their family. This is exactly what's happening, folks, in the world. We're watching. This is what this new world order, this great reset is. It's this final takeover with this dream that they've had for centuries, the oligarchs and the upper elites. They truly believe that they have this duty to rule over us, that because of their wealth and because they were able to acquire that wealth and you weren't, then that means that they are better than you and they are smarter than you and that they should rule over you. And this is just, I think, a great example of that. It's not necessarily a specific knock against Trump, although it is really weird that he's hosting weird furry parties at his resort. It's showing that, you know, this is really beyond let them eat cake. You know, you know, the world's falling apart. Wars are everywhere. People are getting poorer, dollars collapsing, and they're hosting just the most absurd, ridiculous parties. Speaking of New World Order, you know, just yesterday, and I showed it in the video yesterday, it was said that Donald Trump is presenting his New World Order and leading it. Well, it's weird how this happened twice in one day. Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada, met with Xi Jinping in China, and of course they worked out a deal. You know, we've run off Canada. Canada was our closest ally, closest trading partner, right there on our border, our neighbor. And because of these policies, we've chased them off, and now they've run to China, and they have just worked out this really close binding agreement between China and Canada. And listen to this video clip here of him talking about that they're doing this because of the New World Order.
The progress that we have made in the partnership sets us up well for the New World Order.
All right, now to wrap this up, if it's not becoming more and more obvious to those of you that were kind of on the fence and not sure if old crazy hillbilly Travis knew what he was talking about, I've been telling you this stuff for years, folks. It's not about left versus right or Republican versus Democrat. That's what they want. That's the illusion that they want you to buy into. You know, oh, it's Trump versus Biden or Trump versus Kamala. That's this illusion that they want you to buy into. That the real truth is that it's them versus us, right? And they're ruling over us, and they finally have reached a point with technology that they're able to actually completely control us. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing this change of everything so that they can control you in every way possible, which is why you need to be prepared. You need to be self-sufficient. You need to get your heart and your mind ready for this, and get your family and your community ready for this, because it's coming. Folks, get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.